Hi guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, your weekly update of everything new coming into the store and going out for release this new comic book day. So, of course, all pull lists are done, organised, bagged and boarded, ready to go. So, when you get a chance, pop in and pick those up. It's a pretty big week this week, loads of big releases from the big two, from indie companies. There's some great collected editions out this week, some topping up of some classics. Pretty much a little bit of everything. So I'm actually going to kick things off this week with the graphic novels section before single issues, just because single issues are further away. That's what decides these things. But yeah, graphic novel wise, as I say, a lot in this week. So we're going to kick things off with the latest addition to the Jodorowsky library. So these are always a collection of deluxe matching volumes that show the iconic works of the legendary Alejandro Jodorowsky. They're always released from Humanoids. There tends to be 3 individual stories in each. That larger European format as well, so slightly wider pages. So that kicks things off this week. New this week from Image Comics. This is one we were very much looking forward to arriving. This is called Stringer, a crime thriller. So this is actually an original graphic novel. It's not one that's going to be released in single issue format, just straight to graphics. We actually had the opportunity to interview the artist on this, Paul Tucker. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. You can also check it out on our podcast network as well. But yeah, we interviewed him quite some time ago, and now it's getting its full release. It was awesome. They did send us a PDF in advance so that we could have a read before the interview. It essentially enters the world of professional tennis, but you've got a guy who is using that as cover for smuggling drugs all around the world, and it goes from there. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad to see it in a beautiful hardcover now, because the digital file, it was fun to read and all the rest, but there was a lot of double page spreads that, you know, you only see one page at a time in digital comics, whereas obviously you have the full kit and caboodle there. So really highly recommended. As I say, brand new original graphic novel this week. This lovely little box right here is the start of the collection for the Batman One Bad Day hardcover. So Batman One Bad Day, of course, a series of one-shots looking at different Gotham villains, different creators on each one. But what they've done is they've released this slipcase, and what you'll see in there is you'll see a edition of One Bad Day, The Riddler, which is new out this week, which I'll show you individually in a second. So you get a volume of that, but you also get a new volume of Batman The Killing Joke, which is essentially the influence for, or you know, the motivation for all of the One Bad Day stories in general. But yeah, it's a beautiful slipcase. They're going to be releasing them every couple of weeks, and then you would essentially fill this with each volume as they come out. But yeah, a lovely addition and a lovely way of doing it, which will look obviously great on the shelf. And we all like a little bit of shelf porn, if we don't say so ourselves. Next up, we have Planet Hulk Worldbreaker. So this is from Greg Pak. You have a 5-issue miniseries. Manuel Garcia was the artist on this. This is returning to Planet Hulk, and this is all 5 issues all together. Had some beautiful covers from Gary Frank and Carlos Paglian as well. So that is a little beauty there. Also really good, which surprised a lot of people with how good it is Gold Goblin. This was a 5-issue miniseries written by Christopher Cantwell, Lan Medina on art, but obviously an offshoot of Amazing Spider-Man and so on and so forth. But yeah, there's a lot of guys who love this in single issues, so I think that'll sell well now that it's hit graphic novel format. We've got Medieval Spawn Witchblade up next. So again, this was a lovely little crossover series with Medieval Spawn and Witchblade. You know, what more can you say? It's not one of those classic sort of heroes against each other and then together, but it's something that was done decades ago during the formation of Image, but now back together. Next up, we have Volume 1 of Alyssa Wong's Deadpool. This is a pretty big, chunky one actually, because it's got issues 1 to 5, but also material from New Mutants number 30 as well. So if you're looking at a good jumping on point for Deadpool, that's a new Volume 1 this week. Next up, we have an epic collection for Wolverine, which is titled To the Bone. This is Volume 7, cover 93 to 94. Now, the one thing is we used to have our we used to have our epic collections over to the side here in this area. I've now integrated the epic collections into the main graphic novels over by the wall. The reason for that is, say someone comes in, they're looking for Amazing Spider-Man, they see Spider-Man graphics over there, they maybe think that's all we have, whereas we have maybe 10 different epic collections over here. So they've just been filtered into the main collection. So if you're looking at epic collection stuff in general, they're over there. Epic collections, of course, full color reprints of a lot of classic stories being put together. Next up, we have Will Morris's Gospel. Now, this is a new creator-owned one as well, written and drawn by Will Morris. This was a 5-issue miniseries. When opportunity refuses to knock, the devil comes knocking instead. I really dug this. Really cool mythology title. What's really sweet as well is that Will actually got in touch with the store and sent us some bespoke bookmarks that get sold with every issue as well. I mean, they even have like a little wax stamp on them as well. A little bit of effort went into it, to say the least. But yeah, really cool 5-issue miniseries and a creator definitely to watch. Next up, we have Trials of X Volume 10. So continuing on with the Trials of X stuff. This collects issues from Hellions, Excalibur, Marauders, New Mutants, and X-Men as well. So continuing on with that. Back in stock is Berserker Volume 2, which is issues 5 to 8. So this is the middle arc, the 2 towers, if you will, of Berserker. So back in stock. So Volume 1 on the shelves and Volume 2 now back in stock. I'd mentioned before Batman One Bad Day. So this is the hardcover version of that. It doesn't seem to state whether there's any extras or not. Now, I know what I'm like. I'm going to collect these anyway because they're lovely additions. But I would like it if they actually had a little bit of extra content in there just to justify the extra price. I know you've got a nice hardcover and it's nice premium, but I mean, the square bound single issues were pretty premium anyway. But if you didn't jump on it at that point, you prefer a nice hardcover, that's one of the best One Bad Days with the Riddler. Next up, we have the next volume of the Captain America Mighty Marvel Masterworks. So this collects Tales of Suspense issues from 78 to 94, and also Knockbrand Ek number 3 as well. So continuing on with the Captain America stuff there. Next up, we have Junkyard Joe. This was an awesome 6-issue miniseries. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. This is part of the Mad Ghost sort of universe, along with Gagger. That Jeff Johns is slowly pulling together. It did suffer a little bit from a release schedule, because of course it did, because it's a Jeff Johns title. I love his work, but holy crap, he is slow. But this was fantastic, and I highly recommend that as well in terms of the artwork, because it's absolutely glorious looking. A couple of volumes back in stock are Umbrella Academy, so the first 2 volumes back in stock. So we've got Apocalypse Suite, which is your first one, and Dallas, which is your second one. Of course, Jared Way and Gabriel Ba on the on the Umbrella Academy stuff. We have Deathstroke Inc. Volume 1 hardcover in stock this week. So this was a series from Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter on art. Crazy series. If I remember correctly, in this first volume alone, Black Canary and Deathstroke end up in space. But it's a lot of fun. So this was Deathstroke Inc. numbers 1 to 7, and also an issue of Batman Urban Legends, which was number 6, all in one volume. And then to finish off the graphic novels, because for some reason we have been going through these like crazy in the last couple of weeks. Well, not for some reason, it's just quite simply one of the best comics around. So we have the whole run of Saga back in stock. So 10 is already on the shelf, but we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Saga back in stock for anybody who is still yet to indulge in quite simply one of the best comic series of all time. So we'll move on from there and on to single issues. We'll kick things off with DC. So first of all, you have the Super Spies Spectacular Wonder Woman number 800. So this is essentially bringing to an end Becky Cloonan's run, but also setting up where Tom King's going to take the title. Great jumping on point if you've been looking for one for Wonder Woman, because as I say, Tom King's going to take over along with Daniel Sampere on art, and this is the start of their run essentially. What's cool is it's number 800. I believe they're going to have legacy numbering, so it'll say 801, but it'll also say issue 1 just to make it easier for new readers as well. Continue on with the Dawn of DC stuff. We have Titans number 2, so Tom Taylor, Nicholas Scott, of course. I've already read this. It is awesome. Just great art from Nicholas Scott. Usual blend of humor, teamwork, and heart from Tom Taylor as well. Next up in the Dawn of DC line is Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow. So continuing on with this 6-issue miniseries, I should say. So we're reaching issue 3, reaching the midpoint there. We have Catwoman 56. Catwoman's a title that I keep saying to people, it's like the most underrated DC title around at the moment, and it's probably going to get a little bit more of a day in the sun, so to speak, soon, because it's going to be a good crossover with Batman Catwoman. So Selena Kyle is back. She was in prison for a while. She's back, but she broke out illegally. Batman ain't going to take too well to that. Speaking of Batman, we have Batman White Knight Presents Generation Joker issue 2. So continuing on with the Katana Collins and Sean Murphy scripted and Mirka Andolfo drawn companion piece to the Batman White Knight universe. Next up is Batman Superman World's Finest, so continuing on, Mark Waid, Dan Mora. Again, quite simply one of the best DC titles around, although it is actually, it's on loads of pull lists, so unlike Catwoman where I say it's a really underappreciated gem, plenty of people know how good Batman's Superman is. But what also people know is great is Nightwing, and we're up to this much vaunted first-person viewpoint of Nightwing issue. And again, I've already read it, and again, it's exactly as you'd expect. It's great. It's like a one-off adventure. You could jump onto this issue even if you're not reading Nightwing, just to see what all the fuss is about. But it also does set up some little crumbs for where the series is going to move forward onto. So moving on from there and on to Marvel, and again, it's a big Marvel week. You know, we've a lot of big DC releases there. We've also a lot of big Marvel releases. So Venom number 21 is next up. I'm seeing people slowly gravitate back towards Venom, which is great to see because it was a little slow getting going in the middle, but it's really hit its stride in the last few issues. Al Ewing scripting, Cafu on art. I think the art changes really helped it as well. But the reason Bryan Hitch left Venom is because Bryan Hitch is back in the Ultimate Universe. So Ultimate Invasion, brand new number 1, Jonathan Hickman, Bryan Hitch. This is undoubtedly, I think, will be one of the biggest titles of the year. The Ultimate Universe is revered in a lot of ways, and it's perfect timing for me because I've only just started reading the Ultimate Universe. You know, I've finished the Ultimates Omnibus, I've finished 2 Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibuses, I'm about to start Ultimate X-Men Omnibus, so my timing is perfect for this, and great to see Bryan Hitch back in the Ultimate Universe. Next up, we have a brand new number 1. It's the new season of Star Wars The Mandalorian. Of course, they are leaning heavily on their first appearances, the Marshall Cobb Vanth, and this is Mandalorian Season 2. Star Wars also is represented this week in Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Boba Fett is back. For me, this should have just been a Boba Fett series, surely. That's Star Wars Bounty Hunters, the most famous bounty hunter of them all. But there you go. We have a Scarlet Witch Annual this week, which is the prelude to Contest of Chaos. Now, Contest of Chaos is going to be an event that we're going along Marvel Annuals. So it'll be interesting to see with this. This is a prelude to it. This is setting up where it's going. And then, as I said, it'll take place across a multitude of annuals. We have Miles Morales number 7, which is also Carnage Reigns part 6 of 7. So, of course, Carnage Reigns has gone across Red Goblin, it's gone across Miles Morales, it's gone across Carnage, and it's been a really cool symbiote-based series. Another big one this week definitely is the Incredible Hulk. Great to see the Incredible back before Hulk. It's been a long time. Obviously, we had Immortal Hulk, which was a fantastic run. We had Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley's Hulk, which was certainly ambitious, but a little bit up and down. But we are back to the Age of Monsters. This is going to be big, I think. Phil Kennedy Johnson writing, Nick Klein on art coming over from Thor. I think this is going to be one of the Marvel's titles of the year. Guardians of the Galaxy, again off to a really good start with Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, and Kev Walker on art. Really great first 2 issues, so looking forward to tucking into issue 3. We have Edge of Spider-Verse number 3, Spider Smasher, also featuring Spider-Boy, of course the character that Dan Slott introduced through the Spider-Man title. Not Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man. So also going to be in this Edge of Spider-Verse issue. We have Denny Ketch Ghost Rider, so issue 2 of this little mini-series. God, I love the return to Marvel corner boxes. I want to see them in every title because they really do just add to the character of the front cover. We have Cult of Carnage Misery, issue 2, so continuing on with this mini-series. And then we finish off with another big one this week for Marvel, which is the Avengers. So, of course, Jed McKay kicked this off, CF Villa on art. First issue was great, one of our picks of the month when we did our most recent reviews podcast. And if you jump into Avengers, you'll see why it's off to a really, really good start. So we finish off the single issues then with the indie stuff, and then we'll have the variants as well, as there's a good selection this week. So we have Arcade Kings number 2. So this was a new sort of retro-based indie series coming from Image Comics, coming from Skybound, which of course is Robert Kirkman's imprint. So issue 2 of that. We have a Chilling Adventures Presents number 1, which is Camp Pickens. These are always one-shot sort of horror-based titles. And I was on it straight away because it's a Francesco Francavilla cover. Anytime Francavilla is in the world of Archie horror, I'm there. But again, always one shot, so you can just jump straight in there. You don't even need to have been reading any Sabrina stuff up to now or Archie horror stuff. Chicken Devil, we're up to number 4. Brian Bucoletto and Mattia Monaco continuing on with their Chicken Devils, or Chicken Devil Volume 2, if you will. Next up is we've been getting in the Disney stuff again. It's been selling quite well. So we're on the Disney Villain Scar number 3. Moving on from there, we have one again that I think will be pretty big this week, and it's Godzilla Here There Be Dragons. It's a brand new mini-series. Frank Thierry writing, Inaki Miranda on art. Brand new number 1, going to be a mini-series, but looks really, really cool. That we have Keen Spawn out this week as well. We're as far as issue 23 for the Sean Lewis scripted Keen Spawn series. We move on from there to the Mighty Barbarians. Before superheroes, before it all, just do the Mighty Barbarians. They keep describing this as basically the Avengers, but in Barbarian time. Really enjoying this. This is from the guy, Michael Morecki, who does Barbaric. This is a sort of a companion sister series. Street Fighter 6, issue 4. So 48 pages of Street Fighter goodness. We're up to issue 4 of this. I believe this is going to be a 6-issue mini-series as well. We have the Vampire Slayer number 15. So Sarah Gailey continuing on with the Vampire Slayer stuff. So as I say, issue 15. New issue of Walking Dead. So we're up to issue 65, which is incredible to think. I mean, this is The Walking Dead Deluxe must be going on 2.5 years now, and it's still only a third of the way through the goodness that is The Walking Dead. But up to issue 65 this week. And then we finish off with an anthology book from Oni Press, which is called Xeno. Now, the reason I got this in, it's sci-fi, it's anthology, and it has some of the most interesting and talented up-and-coming creators working on it. You know, you've got Chris Condon in there, who's doing great work with That Texas Blood. You've got Melissa Flores, who's doing great work with The Dead Lucky. You've got old heads such as, you know, Phil Hester, Jordan Thomas, Shaky Kane, and all sorts. So, yeah, anthology-based, brand new number 1. I'm looking forward to tucking into that one myself. So we move away from there and we finish off then with the variant covers, which, as I say, there's a good selection of this week. So we kick things off with a Brian Bolland variant cover for Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman 800, of course. Unsurprising that Brian Bolland should do a cover. Very synonymous with Diana from great runs from the past. Also from Wonder Woman, we have a Daniel Sampere foil variant cover, which is absolutely glorious. This is the one I went for when it comes to my Wonder Woman 800 issue. So yeah, beautiful foil cover there. On to Titans, we have Titans number 2. This is part of the range of what DC have been doing, calling the swimsuit variants. So this is done by Joe Quinones, and that's for Titans number 2. But that can't hold a candle to the other Titans variant cover this week, and that's because it's by friend of the store, an all-around talented guy, Clayman. Get this man on a Justice League or a Titans book now, please. Glorious cover, again, it's the one I went for Titans this week. Also part of that swimsuit special variant range is a Terry Dodson variant cover. Again, one of my favorite artists. This, of course, is for Catwoman number 56. Also for Catwoman 56, we have this Joshua Schwabe variant cover as well. Again, Catwoman, so underrated. Just genuinely one of DC's best titles. Next up is Batman Superman World's Finest number 16 from our good friend Lee Bermeo, doing a variant cover there. Always manages to make Batman and Superman look epic and muscular and heroic. Gorgeous cover right there. Speaking of gorgeous covers, we have Nightwing 105. So, of course, the first person issue I just spoke about. But this is a beautiful Dan Mora variant cover again. One of the best artists around right now. We have Titans number 2, another variant, which is, they've been doing a series of variants for Titans where it focuses on different characters each time. So this time we're focusing on Starfire. And we have a Jen Bartel variant cover, rather glorious. Love those colors. We have a Jorge Fornes variant cover for Superman number 5, which depicts a really, really good sort of action saving scene. Next up is Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. Sold out of this last week, managed to get some variants in this week, done by Salvador LaRocca. Pretty glorious. Spider-Man India, this was out last week. They didn't send us our variants, so had to wait for them until this week. Spider-Man India, this is a Ron Lim, of course, old hand when it comes to Marvel variants, doing the cover for that. And then we finish off with the the Incredible Hulk variant done by Patrick Gleason, which is referred to as the Elemental variant cover, which again is pretty glorious. So that is it for this week, everything that has arrived into the store. So of course those shelves are fully stocked. There's new stuff in, there's some new Funko Pops in as well for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We received some Marvel Select figures in. We received just new stuff coming in all the time. So just pop your head in. Always worth a wee browse around. But as I say, all new releases, I'll be on the racks tomorrow, and all pull lists are done, everything ready to go. So as ever, hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope this proves useful and you enjoy the show. Feel free to spread the word if you do, and I look forward to seeing you in store throughout the week. So take it easy.